I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Good afternoon, or evening, actually, everyone. Sorry, it took me a second to get things started here. But I'm actually doing something a bit different. Just want to make sure everything's working, running right, which I'm not sure if it is, to be honest with you. But we'll find out here in a little bit. Well, I'll find out later, actually. But I am recording the space, so I can actually put it up on YouTube later, which is a little bit of a process, but I think it's worth it. At least I hope it's worth it. Because, like I said, each of these are different niches. Each platform's different. I'm on a bunch of platforms. I love doing the spaces. It gives me a different niche, different group of people that aren't on Sons and Daughters of Liberty on YouTube or Rumble or Parler or Locals, Minds. I'm all over the place. And I do mainly stream my live streams from YouTube, but I do enjoy using the spaces. And it's something I'm going to work to build upon. And since there's no easy way to share this on other platforms so other people can interact and enjoy, I've decided to use OBS Studios. Once I get the stream space started, pop it in my OBS, pop the link in, and I can record it or live stream it. I'm not going to live stream it because I just have crappy internet and it just won't work. But I can record it and upload it later. So at least you guys now are forewarned that all my spaces from here on out will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube and various other platforms. But you guys will get to be the first to interact and see these before anyone else. So still that little perk. On to tonight's topic, which is everybody's topic for the past, since Thursday, Friday, except for I'm going to take this in a different direction. I actually did a live podcast last night about this on YouTube, over on Sons and Daughters of Liberty on YouTube. We got into this. Everybody tells you to invest in gold, invest in silver. That's if the banks and everything closed down. That's where the money's at. I hate to tell you this, they're kind of lying to you, and it's obviously that they don't know their history. They don't know what true value gold and silver has compared to other things, and that's something important. It's good to have. It will have a place and a purpose, but it's not going to be worth what it is right now. In fact, if I was you guys, I'd be looking for the gold markets to start crashing itself, especially if the House and the Senate pass that bill that they're working on to prevent Russia from trading 130 billion in gold, restricting their ability to sell to the markets, which is very important because when I say history, there used to be a time in history where it was illegal to possess, sell, trade gold. And our government made it so. Federal D. Roosevelt, FDR, on the Gold Act, Gold Reservoir Act, or something like that, Gold Reserve Act. But he also made an executive order making it illegal to sell, trade, possess, hoard, or buy gold. So it was a criminal act if you possessed gold. You could be charged. The gold would be confiscated. If you tried to sell the gold at a Federal Reserve or federal market or bank or pawn shop, back then they didn't have pawn shops, but going to use modern day too, it would be confiscated. You lose the gold, not get paid for it. I want you guys to understand that. So if we ever had a financial crisis, our president, our government could put a freeze on gold and make it illegal for you to possess, sell, trade, or buy, even to have it in your possession. I think it's funny. I hear all these people tell people, buy gold, buy gold. It's like, and these people should know their history. They should know that this actually took place in our history. This is 1934. And it really wasn't, people really wasn't allowed to buy gold and possess gold and trade gold until the 1970s. Think about that, almost 40 years. Just like if you go out and pan your gold in a creek, and you go to sell that, you got to actually you're supposed to report any finding of gold or precious gems to the government. It's a crime if you do not. It's like when you go to sell it to the pawn shop or wherever, they take record. Where'd you get it? You got to tell them where you got it. When you buy it, they got to fill out forms saying who bought it. So there is a record the government has who in the United States, what U.S. citizens possess gold. Interesting, right? So now we got a bunch of people. I don't know, a bunch of people is buying crypto. But what good is crypto and if all the financial markets collapse? What good is it if a bunch of banks, like the last 4 years, a bunch of banks, credit card companies bought a bunch of crypto? Now they can influence that market. They can influence the Bitcoin market and cause it to tank. Then what's that worth? Nothing. It's not worth anything if you can't trade it. We live in the United States, so it's technically illegal. We got to buy our crypto secondhand, basically. So, there is that dilemma with crypto. And in the end, if your electric company, your grocery store, your food markets won't accept it, it's worthless. It has no value. They'll they would much rather take gold or silver, as long as the government hasn't stepped in and made it illegal. But there'll be some cases where they'll still do it. It'll just be more black market type stuff, and that's what they're going to label the bartering systems as black markets. The black markets exist no matter what the economy's like, but the black markets will thrive in a financial collapse of our banks. There's no way around it. I think a lot of people think, oh, that gold's going to be worth so much. Well, let me tell you a dirty little secret. It ain't going to be worth nothing. There'll be some greedy people out there that's going to want it. But let me tell you what's going to be worth something as I'm sitting here sipping on my coffee. Coffee is going to be worth more than gold. Alcohol, liquor is going to be worth more than gold. Tobacco is going to be worth more than gold and silver. Think about that. Food is going to be worth more than that gold and silver because there is no more markets. If we have a collapse, there's nobody saying what the price of gold is worth. Well, I can do very little with gold when I've got a bunch of liquor, bunch of coffee, bunch of tobacco, bunch of food that I've grown myself, that's far worth more in value than that gold. Some people may agree to trade on it because some people are going to think, okay, eventually we're going to get out of this. Things are going to turn around. So that gold's going to be worth a lot of money when things get back to normal. That's a lie. It won't, because we get back to that, then we're back to the same old bullshit we got right now. People in charge, corrupt people, greedy people, who's going to, basically repeat history. It might be good for allowance. There'll be some people, yeah, they might get off land. What's more valuable than gold? Property. Investing in a property that has good water sources, good soil to plant, to grow things, to hunt, fish. All these things have more value than gold and silver. Let me tell you another, break it down even farther. I'd rather trade iron for my stuff. Iron has more value than that gold. You bring me an iron bar, I'm going to give you what you need. You know why? Because I can make things out of that iron. I can't make nothing out of gold. A financial crisis and a collapse. But that iron bar, I can make bullets. I can make nails. I can make screws, knives, axes, arrowheads. And the list is huge of things that we're going to need iron for. Yes, some precious metals are actually going to be more valuable than gold and silver. Aluminum will be more valuable than gold and silver to some people. You know, I can use aluminum to make the eyes for my fishing poles. So much stuff out there that's going to have more value to people than your gold and silver. And we haven't gotten into you yourself, your skills, your knowledge. What do you know how to do? In this day and age, most people don't know how to do crap if it's not tech related. They'd be lost. Most people don't even know how to swing a hammer. Most people couldn't even build a hammer, make a hammer. There's so many skills out there that you need. Most people, still a lot of people know how to hunt fish today. Most people can somewhat grow gardens. Those are skills. But most people don't know how to build a house, build shelter, how to make their tools that might not have to build things, to craft things. Those are skills that have more value than gold and silver. You can trade those skills for food, for water, for alcohol, tobacco, whatnot, for shelter. So therefore, your skills have more value than gold and silver. What skills do you have? They made it, and they've prepared people for this. They've indoctrinated everybody, tricked everybody. Just like today's age, to work on your own vehicle is almost impossible because there's so much electronic crap in it. There's so much crap. I mean, most of these new cars, they've got so many well, 300,000 chips in certain vehicles. Chips that we don't even manufacture here in the United States. We have to rely on Taiwan and other countries like China Japan, which makes it almost impossible to fix a lot of the problems that these vehicles have. What happens in a financial collapse? Banks all shut down. Well, your power company is going to go next. Do you know how to, do you have any skills in s- setting up solar, making your own windmill using an old generator from a car, doing hyd using water to create energy through like the old school windmill and the old mills, not the windmill, but the water mills, using the water to produce engines. Do you know how to turn your engine into it so you can actually burn your trash and power your generators? Can you build them and set them up for other people to trade for goods and things you need? I mean, how many people can actually sew? How many women out there can actually sew today? Clothes, shoes. How many people can actually know how to repair your own shoes? These are the things we don't think about. These are the things we take for granted. These are the things we think that we're going to be able to get with gold and silver. But what happens when that person has no need for your gold and silver? Because if I'm bartering and trading, I'm trading for the things I need. I don't need gold. So what do you got in replace that gold? Or if I do take your gold, you're not going to get much because that gold does not have no value. And there'll be a bunch of suckers out there that stockpiled and bought in this gold because that's what happened over the weekend. Record setting numbers, people buying gold and silver. But all they did is put themselves on a list of the federal government. Okay, all these people bought gold. Now, heaven forbid we do what FDR did and we make it illegal, but we make it illegal. We can go collect all this stuff for the greater good to build back our economy, to resupply our banks. Then what do you got? Nothing. When they come and take it, you have nothing. But I got all this crypto. Well, if there's no financial institutes, no internet, what good is that crypto? Oh, no electricity. You can't charge your phone to open up your wallet. What good is that crypto? I live in the real world, guys, not in a make-believe illusionary world where a fake imaginary currency has value. I'm sorry, that paper monopoly money has more value than your crypto. But for most people, things have to happen before they realize how mistakenly they are. Oh, I don't need to stock up. Oh, you're a prepper. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're insane for doing all that. Well, COVID came around and look what happened. Look at the three rings sideshow circuses at every convenience store, Walmart. Look how fast people panicked and went shopping, buying everything off the shelves, creating further problems when they should have already had stuff stocked up, backs up. Oh no, it'll never happen. Well, it did happen. You know, we can't be prepared for everything. In certain situations, hey, crypto might be there for a while. But what happens when it's not? What happens when these banks decide to screw the market and drop the value of it and manipulate the market? They know how to do it. You know, we forget about these things. That's kind of what helped push Bitcoin up was a bunch of banks and a bunch of credit cards bought into Bitcoin and Ethereum, raising the prices, making it jump. But guess what? Now they got a bunch of it to manipulate the market with. So, they could deem, okay, we go down, you go down. I can't put my faith and my ability to survive into things that have no value. What I can do, I can educate myself. I can learn these skills that I don't know, don't have. It's the skills that will sustain me, that will provide for me and my friends and families. Can you survive? Do you have those skills? You know, every place I've worked, if there's any opportunity to learn something new, I jump on it. Why? Because it's a skill I don't have. When it comes down to it, I'm a jack of all trades. I know how to weld. I know how to repair my own cars. I know how to cook. I know how to sew a little bit. I know how to fish, hunt. I'm even tech savvy. Now I can write code, build my own platforms, do all this kind of fun stuff. But unfortunately, that's a skill that's only good if we have a financial institute. Because without the banks, without monetary issues, that all goes away. Power company's going to want their money. They're going to want their paycheck. If there's no money to pay their workers aren't going to work. So therefore, the companies are going to shut down. How many of you actually know how to find water on your land without going to get somebody? One, if you bought land, you should already know where your water tables are. I know where all the water tables are on this property. To where if I had to, if the main well went dry, I could re-well it down farther where another well is. The well goes, power goes out, power company shuts everything down. All I got to do is remove the cap and the pump and put the hand pump on it. I still have water and access to my well. Do you? Most people don't think, oh, those are just lawn ornaments. Nobody uses those anymore. You're right, nobody does, but you should have one. You should have a hand pump and extra gaskets and stuff for it. Put aside just in case something like that ever happened. Now, we've got a couple generators. We've got ability to set up solar, wind, but hey, there's also a point that's kind of irrelevant for right where I'm at, but not irrelevant because I still have those skills that I can take when I move here real soon and still apply those skills to where I'll be within the new community I'll be in. And they already know I have all those skills, or else I wouldn't be part of that community. So the truth is, guys, your gold and silver has no real value. It might for a little bit until people start really clamping down and they realize, well, I can't do anything with this gold and silver. Sometimes we got to face reality. Sometimes we got to understand when we see these things, when we start talking about these things, we have a responsibility to also inform people, educate people that, yeah, it's a good idea to have some, but you need other things. And also reemphasize your skills have so much more value than you realize, which is the truth. These are important things that we need to be talking about. Without these things and the knowledge of this stuff, this information, where are we today? Where would we be in a situation if everything collapsed, all the markets go down, all the banks close down? We already seen today people were standing in long lines, waiting out in front of certain banks, trying to get their money they're probably not going to see. If you listen to the FDIC, they're talking about giving that 250 that's insured to the wealthy to support them because they think that's the answer and you guys get screwed. And the fact is, most people don't have that much set in their bank anyway. So they're not really worried about you. They're more worried about keeping their rich elitist clients satisfied. But even those guys are going to lose. They're not going to get that 10 million they got set in a stupid bank account back. They're only going to get 250 of it, if that, back. But they can afford to lose that. That's the way it was set up, principle wise. The average day person can't. That's why the insurance is set at that to protect the little guys. But in theory, it sounds good, but in practice, we've seen 2008 that they didn't do that. We've heard the FTC say, no, we're going to protect these funds here. And all they did in 2008, they just put a band-aid over the situation and made everybody think it was okay. They manipulated you with the stock markets when Trump got elected. Everything's up, 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 up. Okay, it's down. We haven't made it's going down, down, down. But here's it's been a whole issue with the stock market. Okay, where is that invisible line where it's actually in jeopardy? If it gains all this and loses half of it, they're talking major catastrophe. But how is it when you're still up from what it was a year ago? But it's catastrophe to them. And it ends up screwing with everything. It screws with our interest rates, screws with everything. Prices of food, gas, and everything goes up because, oh no, the stock market's crashing. I mean, if you ask me, the stock market has never crashed. From the day it originated to the time it is now, it is up. Business is good. But that's not how it works. They manipulate the stock market so much that it's impossible to keep up. My 401k did great during Trump. But as soon as Biden came around, yeah, not so much. In fact, it actually lost value. So what do you do? How do you determine what has value? You start educating yourself. You start realizing that, man, in a situation like that, yes, the greedy people will probably accept gold. Your power company and water company might take payment in gold. But how long is that going to last? Then they're going to, okay, we're going to pay you a gram of gold for 40 hours worth of work or whatever. And those guys are on call 24/7, so they work insane hours during natural disasters. So now that gram, how much is it worth? They take that gram to the farmer's market to barter within their community. How much food are they going to get? Are they going to be able to get blankets, food with a 2 or 3 grams, 4 grams, half an ounce? Because what gold is now will not be the value of gold when all these institutions collapses. It will be up to the barters. How much do they put the value of gold in? You come bartering with gold to my area, I'm going to send you, pretty much will probably just send you away. What else do you have to trade? I don't need any of that. I can't eat that. I can't grow that. I can't make anything out of that besides jewelry or coin, which has no value. What, got a couple chickens? Sure, I could use a couple of chickens. What do you need? Yeah. Now, how much am I, now I'm stuck. How much does he value those chickens to what he needs? How much am I willing to give those chickens? And truthfully be quite a lot if it's, if I knew one was a male and one was a hen, or if I already have hens and stuff, and these are younger chickens, and I can, well, that's eggs, eventually food, that's meat after, a certain amount of time where I can't get them. So you know what? That has more value than gold and silver because that's something I can survive on, sustain on, or reproduce into something else over a period of time. So therefore, those chickens have way more value than gold, way more value than any type of cryptocurrency. And I hate to be the burden of bad news. You might just say, oh, just your mindset. No, that is a lot of people's mindsets. People that know, well, I'll just take it. Yeah, that would be your first mistake. And a lot of that will happen. Hence, bullets, guns, black powder has real high value. More value than your gold and silver. You know how many suckers out there that are actually going to sell their firearms, their bullets, and whatnot for a little chunk of gold and silver? And people are just going to hand it to them. It's like, yeah, here, perfect. Good deal, man. And walk away and laughing. Because that had more value than that gold I just gave you. People don't know that. Why? Because you got people out there telling people, go buy this. You need to have this. You need to have this stocked up. And don't get me wrong, it does have a place. But that place is not at the top of the pecking order. That place is to use at the beginning and maybe have something at the end to cash in. Now, these are the things that I enjoy talking about because these things are actually sound fact. That's reality. It's history. History has shown these things. History has shown that black markets thrive and financial collapses. And we see it popping up in society more and more. We're starting to see more and more of the old Rome appearing within our society and cultures. The orgies, the sex, the great coliseums, the games, all the betting now, which is, I'm tired of seeing the betting commercials. Been so legal for all this time. You wanted to bet, you had to go to Vegas. Now I can place bets on football games, basketball games, baseball games, and almost every state's now passed that, so you can. You know your history, and you see these things. They start coming to a peak and rising and thriving towards the end of a civilization's demise, towards the collapse. These things bring on the downfall. Your money lenders or get so greedy. They start, you know, it's just insane. Most people don't understand this anymore, especially our youth. They don't know this history. They don't understand how these civilizations got so great, then just disappeared. Oh, they were primitive. No, some of these places were not as primitive as we think they were. They were ahead of their times that we can see. But we're finding out as archaeologists dig and find things, we're not even sure if we're right on that anymore. What collapses the system is the greed and corruption of the power hungry, those that wish to control, manipulate, get thrive on the lust and gluttony of their lavish lifestyles, being better than others. That's how we keep getting to these points. And they trick the population, they trick the masses, they manipulate them, they pit them against each other to the point where then they start controlling them through fear. They indoctrinate their children, start teaching them the vices instead of the reality, the morals. They create the system of control. And they handpick the next people to advance. There's a reason why they don't want alphas. They don't want an alpha male and alpha females. Because you can't control them. There's a reason why they want to suppress free speech. They don't want no free thinkers out there questioning the things that they're doing. They don't want people out there educating people. I am no influencer. Will never label myself as an influencer because I'm not. I'm an educator. I'm an informer. I'm not opposing my will, my beliefs onto anyone. I'm just giving you my opinions, my views, my knowledge. And my knowledge has been passed on from generation to generation through the family. I'm a direct descendant of John Rutledge, a founding father, a signer of the Constitution. It goes clear back to the Mayflower. Then it goes clear back to Europe, the castles. I know my family's crest. I know my history. My history has shown us that you have to have these skills. You have to have these trades. You have to know these things. You have to be free thinking men and women. You don't adhere to a label. That label is not who you are. Because you know who's going to think gold and silver has all these values? Everyone that adheres to a label. I'm not a prepper. I'm not a survivalist. Do I have those skills and knowledge? Yes. And do I share those skills and knowledge from time to time? Yes, to a point. The point is, I don't show you anything. I don't show you anything that could show you what I actually have, where I am actually at. That's information that should not be given to anyone besides your community, your closest friends and family that are trusted not to share that information. Information has more value than gold and silver. It's far more valuable than gold and silver. That information is what's going to help you survive. That's what's going to help you grow. That's what's going to help you avoid certain areas where you could be robbed, killed. Or that information will be used to trap these people that are doing those things so they can be removed from society to protect the community. That's how strong information is, how valuable information is. We live in this time and age where we freely give out our information. Oh, I need to turn my my tracking on. Oh, I'm at this place. Here, let me take this picture. That will tag my location and everything. It's funny. I'm getting ready to do some videos for Sons of Daughters of Liberty separate from the normal stuff I talk about there. Basically just getting my fishing stuff set up and, redoing all my switching things out from winter, spring, summer stuff. So I'm actually going to take videos and, do some educational videos on that. I got to thinking, I do use an app when I go fishing. I use Fish Finder. I like the app. It's a community-based app, but I like it I don't have to have a notebook. I don't have to write down, oh, this is a lure I use. This was the temperature. This is the location. We get, we forget that, technology makes things so much easier. Well, if I can't recharge that phone or we can no longer access that app, guess what? All that information I put there is lost and gone. So, I've got a few small little tablets that I use for hunting and fishing and other whatnot journals. It's where I can mark down my location and do the proper notes that I need. But the fishing app's nice when it works. And it just reminded me how much reliant on things we came because we used to jot things down. Not that much, but because memory's great. But there comes a time and place. Hey, remember that spot? You haven't been there in years, so it's like, well, I've got the GPS coordinates. I've got it kind of marked out in this topographical map where it shows all the water depths and stuff. Like most people don't even know how to use those types of maps anymore. They're so used to Google directions or GPS. They can't find a place by using a normal map. They don't know how to write down markers and locations and stuff like that. Those things have value. How many people actually know how to make a book or make paper? That's what we're type society we're living in. Now we don't talk about all the crazy stuff because it's not now. Oh, that'll never happen. That's always our mindset. Oh, the governments will bail the banks out. Those, what if they don't? Because eventually they're not. Eventually everything's going to collapse. Eventually they're going to realize, okay, we're fighting a losing cause. They don't fear us no more, and they're going to do anything and everything to destroy it. It goes back to poison the well. They'll just set the fire and watch it burn. They'll burn it all down. If they can't have it, you can't have it. Then what good is that gold and silver? Hmm. I don't like situations and crises like this when they come up because it causes a lot of panic and fear. Then you start hearing everybody talk about it, but they're not talking about the real issues. They're talking about something that's not, they have no control over. Instead of informing people what they can be doing, what they could be really investing their time and money in right now while it's still there. The reality of things, your gold and silver, really it doesn't have any value except to the people that are greedy, that thinks that, well, I'm going to get stockpile all this now. That way when things go right, I'll be a millionaire, billionaire, which won't be the truth. It's another lie. Because when everything resets back to normal, or a new normal, I should say, that almost $2,000 an ounce for gold is only going to be 2, 5, $10. So they're going to have to set on it longer in hopes that that market that gets recreated for it will give it more value. But then again, we form another government. Who's to say they're going to let it have value? Who's going to say they might just do what FDR did? Well, FDR did this. We can actually collect the gold and rebuild our resource. I mean, we understand that gold's not backing our American dollar now. It's why the dollar ain't worth crap. It's the petrodollar, which makes no sense because we got to pay somebody for that. We get most of our oil from Saudi Arabia, uh, in the Middle East, instead of tapping our rich reservoirs here in the United States. It makes no sense. Our dollar could be, if we wanted to use, they want to use the petrodollar, it could be strong if we backed it by our own petrol, our own oil. Then it wouldn't, because then we compete with the world markets. As we've seen, the Biden administration didn't help our oil problems. What reserves we had, they sold off to China for less than what the other markets were selling, which completely devalued our money even more. Am I worried about what's taking place? No, not even the least bit. It has no effect on me. One, nothing I can do to change it or make it any different. And I've already been prepared for it. That's the difference. Because I already know what has value. I've already got skills that make me value to someone, to a community. Hey, I hate to say it. In situations like this, women have more value than us men. And there's a lot of women out there that know this truth. Which, brings back to why would I want a beta for a female partner? No, hell no. I want an alpha. I want somebody that knows her worth. And that's the reality thing. Everything we know now will come crashing down. You know who's going to suffer the most is the youth. The youth that don't have all the skills or these knowledges. Now they talk about a great reset. Well, there's the true great reset. The great reset is those that don't know skill, don't have skills, don't know what real value in things are doomed. Only a small fraction of them will survive any type of an event of this type of catastrophe if it ever happens. And guess what? The governments know it. All the world governments know it. It's in their plans. They've planned for it, and they've worked hard to make sure it happens. It's a sad reality. I hear a bunch of people. You know what? When I was growing up, I didn't have all this technological crap. I was learning skills. I was learning how to build tree houses, tree forts, camping, fishing, hunting, working on cars, fixing lawnmowers, learning how to weld, how to build, how to craft. I wasn't sitting in front of a computer. Oh, most people, I'll just Google it up or go to YouTube. Well, if you don't have power, you don't have internet. Therefore, you can't look it up. Nobody talks about what would really happen if we did have a financial collapse. And that's what would happen. You would lose all that stuff. Internet gone. Power companies gone. Water companies gone. Your electricians gone. Nobody's going to work for free. Not when their own family survival's at stake. You know, most people don't even own educational books anymore. When I find those old educational books, how-to books, mechanic books, stuff sitting around at garage sales, yard sales, antique stores, I buy them. They have value. You know, Anytime someone asks, well, can I watch you work on that? Can you show me how? Sure. Why? Because I'm passing those skills on to somebody else. I learned a lot of old timey shit. I still know how to do timber framing housing, which is practically a lost art. You know, joint and mortises. People don't realize that you don't need all the nails and stuff. You can build a house without hardly any nails or spikes if you know how to do joints and mortises. Know how to build a timber frame house. You know who's gonna survive the best out of any of this? The Amish, the homeless, everything we're talking about now won't even affect them. Won't affect their children, their grandchildren, because they still pass these skills and trades and knowledge on. They don't rely on financial services and banks. Do some of them use them? Yes, but they're not relying on them because they know the true value of things. What we know value as cheap ass solder furniture that you buy at Walmart that breaks within a year, 6 months. Heaven forbid you got kids. It's destroyed in less time than that because it's cheaply made. It's not even cheap, it's cheaply crafted. Half the time you break it putting it together. It's that cheap. That's what we've gotten accustomed to. Lightweight, easy, cheap things that look nice but don't last. Houses are being made like that now. Houses like this that are over 250 years old, they're tearing down. They're buying them and tearing them down and recycling and scrapping them and making money off it. And what do they replace them with? If they replace it with stuff that's cheaply made, that don't last, that will not last 30 years. Welcome to the society that we live in. And we bitch and complain about when these things happen. How? Because we let it happen. We got comfortable. We got lazy. We got pacified. Most people nowadays don't know what real value is. That's the moral of the story. Most people today will not understand what is really valuable. Most people won't understand that cup of coffee and cigarette I've been drinking on has more value than that gold and silver to me. But I tell you what, if I didn't drink it, and I know you do, now I have something I can barter with. I set the value of that coffee when I barter with you. What are you willing to give up for it to get me to give it to you? Oh, I've got 8 grams of gold. I got an ounce of gold. Nope, I have no need for it. I have a bunch of ball bearings. How many ball bearings you got? 100? I'll give you 2 ounces of coffee for those 100 ball bearings. And You know what? Most people would look at me crazy. How does those ball bearings have more value than 4, 5, 7, 8 ounces of gold or grams of gold or an ounce of gold? It has way more value because I can make things out of those. I can make nails, screws, bullets, brass, knives, hammers, axes, spikes, a hand plow, a hoe. What can you make out of that gold that's going to till your land? That's going to hoe your weeds. That's going to dig the dirt out of the ground to put a post in. Not gold or silver. But does gold and silver really have any value in a complete financial collapse of every market bank? No. It's the things that you take for granted, don't think about, that has the real value. It's your skills. It's your knowledge of knowing what things have real value. Only the greedy people will think gold and silver have value. Only the youth who's been told by these so-called preppers, buy gold. It'll be tradable. Not so much. You know what, guys? We're just a little over that hour mark, and I kind of want to keep these at an hour because they take forever to upload. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I gave you some things to think about, some things to question now, and talk about within your own little groups and communities. Because that's what this is about. It's not about panicking. It's not about talking about how we're going to fix the institutions that are meant to enslave us anyway. It's about living with less stress, not worrying about it. I don't put a bunch of money in the bank. I put enough in to pay the bills. The rest I put away. Put in a safe, whatnot. I keep cash on me. Try to pay for things in cash. I don't rely on the bank to hold my money and charge me for it. They don't gain interest anymore. It's pointless having a savings account. It's pointless having a checking account other than maybe to pay your bills. An easier way to pay your bills other than that, what's the point? Why put it in the bank? Well, so your house can get robbed, yep. Or a financial crisis could happen and the banks shut down, restrict what you can take out, then what good is that money sitting in the bank? You just got robbed by the very institute that you trusted to protect your money. It works in both ways. It's about being smart enough to know what's right. I have no problem. And most time, yeah, I'll keep about $1,000 in the bank. I won't leave anything over that. The rest, I'll take out, invest in tools, whatnot, things that I can be used, food, non-perishables, fishing gear, hunting gear, things that are going to last. Think about those things, guys. I mean, I don't honestly think at this point in time everything's going to collapse overnight like people are scared of. But now that it's happening, let's take the advantage and point these things out. Have real conversations about what is real and what is illusionary. What has value, what does not have value. That's what we need to be doing. Not having these huge spaces talking about, oh, cryptocurrency, well, the FTC is going to do this, oh, they won't do this, arguing back and forth about a system that's designed to fail anyway. Let's talk about how we survive when they do. Let's educate people on what has real value and how much value they have. You know, to me, that's what it's always about. Even on Sons and Daughters Liberty, yeah, we talk a lot of politics. We talk about history. We talk about what has real value. We talk about the things that make you question things, makes you think. That has more value than the current trending or political crisis at the time. Reminding people of history so we don't repeat it. Or so when things do come crumbling down, we don't make the same mistakes. But in the end, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys be safe. Don't stress. Know that you have value, real value, and know that most of you will.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off.
And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking.
Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots.
You are not as tough as
I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got hard, I'm ready to change. Scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that, oh.
You cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking.
Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots.
you are not as tough as
Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the